What's up everyone, Red Flare back with part 2 of our series, and as promised, it's a video all about everyone's favorite assassin. The woman who was born and raised to be the best spy in the world. Who was able to stand side by side with Earth's mightiest heroes. Who made the choice to become a hero instead of another killer. Ladies and gentlemen, I give to you, the Black Widow. And before we get started, just a little recap on the last video, to catch up anyone that might be seeing this for the first time. Endgame is coming out soon, and to celebrate, me and all my friends, we are coming together to create videos for you guys. This series is dedicated to the character development and growth of the original 6 Avengers. Use the link below if you want to watch any of our other videos on the playlist. As of this video, we only have Hawkeye, but pretty soon we'll have all the other ones. Anyway, to the reason we're all here, Black Widow, aka Natasha Romanoff. First appeared in Iron Man 2. Went on to appear in the Avengers, Captain America, the Winter Soldier, Age of Ultron, Civil War, and finally Infinity War. Now, that's a bit more than Hawkeye had, I'll tell you. Even still, I feel like once more a majority of my time will be talking about her in Age of Ultron. She has a lot of great scenes in these movies, and I can't wait to talk about them with all of you guys. And exactly like we did with Hawkeye, let's go to the beginning of her story, shall we? All the way down to Iron Man 2, which is probably my least favorite of the Iron Man movies, but I still find it enjoyable nonetheless. We start the scene with Tony having some boxing lessons from Happy. Pepper walks in, asking Tony if he could walk over and sign over the transfer paperwork. Close behind Pepper, we get our first reveal at Black Widow, or Natalie Rushmore, as she's calling herself now. A fake name so that she could get a job at Stark Industries working under Tony. I have a feeling that it didn't take a lot of guesswork to figure out exactly how to get the job. Tony's not known as a playboy for nothing, you know. Soon after, she gives Happy a really humiliating defeat during a boxing lesson which he was supposed to be leading, but, well, it's Black Widow, you know exactly what she did. Tony is sold, she gets the job, and all goes well for the Black Widow. And then we get the big reveal, people. She is a spy, she's working for S.H.I.E.L.D., she's keeping her eyes on Tony Stark, because he's apparently dying. She reveals that she has intimate knowledge of all the Iron Man suits that Tony has created. Already showing that she is extremely smart, capable, and is very manipulative, which is, well, what you'd expect from a spy. Oh yeah, did I mention that she has absolutely no shame whatsoever? While in the car with Happy, she proceeds to take off her clothing while he is driving.
When we arrive, I need you to watch the perimeter. I'm gonna enter the facility and take down the target. Watch the road.
I got it.
So after a very awkward car drive, they finally make it to Hammer Industries, where Black Widow proceeds to have her badass fight scene with all the other guards. And then, that's all. That's all of Black Widow. She doesn't really show a lot of personality or character in this movie, and that's alright, it's not her movie. She'll have plenty of other scenes to shine. This is just a really good introduction for her because it's very badass. Next movie is where we get a lot of her character, and it's really good characterization here, people. Like, on my first viewing, and since then, I haven't really thought much of her, but now that I'm looking specifically for her scenes, they're all just really good, especially in the context of the movies. Such as The Avengers, where we meet our favorite Russian spy being currently interrogated by other Russians, who are bad and not good guys. Oh wait, did I say she was being interrogated? Oh, I'm sorry, I really am, because she's actually interrogating them through very tricky means. And this is where we see just how good of an actor she really is. Like, she has these men eating out of the palm of her hands, and they don't even know it yet. She's also extremely confident because she straight up calls her captors morons right in the middle of everything, and just proceeds on with her day after beating the shit out of them. She escapes them easily, but before she can go home or anything like that, she gets her next assignment. She has to meet the big guy. And not Tony Stark, but the big guy. I think we all know who the big guy is, don't we, people? Don't we? We move on to a third world country where we meet Bruce Banner. He's just minding his own business. He has a little shop, he's helping sick people, he's being a doctor, you know, the village doctor, a really good guy. Natasha leads Banner out to the edges of the city via a child spy, which he realizes, and he's not very comfortable with it, but then again, neither is she. Now, if the last scene was us seeing Black Widow at her best, this scene is about seeing her at her absolute worst. She gets Bruce to join them pretty easily, however it is made abundantly clear that they are on his terms, not hers, not S.H.I.E.L.D.'s, but his. The most intriguing part of all this is when we see her lose her cool. It happened after her and Banner are playing a game of 20 questions, at which point Banner decides to slam his hands on the table and yell at her at the top of his lungs. Natasha reacts, pulling out her gun and aiming right between his eyes. Banner talks her down though, but it's clear that this little stunt of his frightened her. Like, really scared the shit out of her. It's good that we see her start at both her best and at her worst. That way, when we get to her next big scene, they can really spin our heads with what they do there. So Fury sends Natasha in to interrogate Loki. Though, it seems like she wants to make a deal rather than just simple interrogation. She offers Loki freedom in exchange for Hawkeye surviving whatever the madman has planned, as well as having her own past swiftly forgotten by society as a whole. And for a second, it looks like Loki is actually going to take the deal. Until he reveals that he knows each and every little thing about Natasha's dark, red past. All of it. Told to him by a brainwashed Barton, aka Hawkeye.
She's shocked, scared, backing away as he aggressively makes his way forward. He starts to laugh, tells her how he's going to force Hawkeye to kill her. That it will be a very intimate, very slow process. How he'll force Hawkeye to finish it. And how, while releasing him, the very last thing Hawkeye will ever see will be what he did to Natasha's body. The Black Widow backs away, crying. She calls Loki a monster. And much like a fly, Loki is trapped in the webs of a spider. Yep, she was faking it the entire time, using a similar trick she did earlier. However, the way that it's different is what really interests me here. She's scared, petrified in her act. Now, where have we seen her like this before, I wonder? And bingo, the scene where she's recruiting Dr. Banner. It makes you think, doesn't it? Just what other scenes in the movie has her lying like this? Manipulating. I mean, she's a spy, so obviously she does this a lot. She's a professional at it. So what's to stop her from doing it in other scenes where she's shown emotion? Now, it may look like Loki didn't faze her with whatever he said. However, I have strong reason to believe that she was affected. Affected to a large degree, but we won't ever see the effects of this until later on in other movies. Like the next one on our list, Captain America, the Winter Soldier. A covert op to save hostages, Natasha tags along with Captain America's squad. However, saving the hostages is not her main goal. No, it's getting Mr. Rogers a date. Okay, yeah, no, that's not why. It's to back up all of S.H.I.E.L.D.'s data on the boat before it was either confiscated or destroyed. A direct order given to her by Nicholas Fury. Also, this movie really reinforces that she will do anything to get a mission done, including kissing Captain America in public just to get away from a few guards. The next good Widow scene is one where her and Cap are in a car and they're just having a chat, just talking, coming together closer as friends. Not much, but hey, it's a good scene. The next one is at Sam's house, where they're both recovering from just now almost being blown up. It's where Steve comes in and he wants to know if he can trust the Black Widow. And what happens? Well, he finds out that he really can trust her. The sentiment is really special to her character. As you can really see, she isn't a person that's used to being trusted all that often. But now, Steve Rogers has placed his trust in her. Captain America has placed his trust in her. Just by seeing her face, you can tell just how much this really means to her. And this trust also serves as a catalyst for her biggest moment in the movie. One that, if we look back at past movies, really does shine. She unleashes all of S.H.I.E.L.D.'s and Hydra's secrets onto the internet for everyone to see and enjoy. Which, if you didn't know, also includes all of her own secrets. Secrets that she wants forgotten, left to the void of time. To where she tried to make a deal with Loki to get rid of them. And now here she is, spilling it all out for everyone to see. And as we all know, what goes on the internet usually stays there, especially stuff like this. I'll expand more on this later, but for now, let's go on to our next movie, which is Avengers Age of Ultron. And we have an oopsie right off the bat. Well, kinda. Basically, I'm not a big fan of the whole Bruce and Natasha ship. Don't get me wrong here, the ship has a lot of good scenes, but they just come out of left field since there was really no build up to it until this movie. They showed no romantic interest in each other in Avengers, yet now they're all flirty and awkward now? Not really buying it, sorry to say. Now, as I said, it still does have some damn fine moments for Natasha, like her first scene with Bruce on the ship. During this scene, you can really see that she really wants Bruce's trust, which is in character from what we've seen in Winter Soldier. We see that she both wants to trust her friends and that she wants her friends to trust her. Sadly, this concept isn't really explored after the movie, but from what we get here, it's really good. But for now, we're just now getting to the big picture. The origin behind her life as an assassin, and the reason the Black Widow is who she is, as well as realizing that she is so much more damaged than anyone ever thought she was. Natasha Romanoff was raised in the infamous Red Room, a Russian hellhole made to create the perfect super spy, crafting these spies from very early ages and forcing them to grow into their own perfect weapons. There, Natasha was subjugated to horrors of all kind, some we can only assume and imagine. Every time we see the Red Room, it's in this really creepy filter, all blurry, images, distorted, making it seem like the place from hell that it really is. It all looks like a horror film, which in all respects it is. Later on in the movie, she tells all of this to Bruce, cementing another really great scene for the two. She decides to tell Bruce about the graduation ceremony and describes to him exactly what it is. Forced sterilization. She ends her story off by telling him,
You still think you're the only monster on the team?
He's shocked to silence. But not only is he shocked, but the audience as well. And what does he do with this? He leaves. Well, technically it was the Hulk who left, riding the Quinjet to God knows where, leaving Natasha alone with her feelings for the next few years. And with that, we're left with nothing else to do but to go on to the next movie, which is Captain America: Civil War. So, she doesn't do or say much here, so really, like I did with Hawkeye, I'm just gonna focus on one scene to save me time and a few brain cells in the process. And that scene is, the last one she has. Well, the last important one she has. During the airport fight, because believe it or not, this is the scene which has probably one of her best features on show. Her trust. Her trust in Captain America. Her trust in Steve Rogers. For context, throughout the entirety of the movie, Natasha had originally been on the side of the Sokovia Accords, on the side of Tony Stark. Until the last, final moments of the battle, where she met face to face with Steve, and all of a sudden, that trust from Winter Soldier came crashing back into her. She lets Captain America go to do what he needs to do, because if she can't trust Captain America, then how can she trust herself? It's a decision that put her against the law, and she doesn't really regret it. We know she doesn't. But it showed that her trust meant way more to her than anything else in the movie. And that's the last of her for this movie. I'm sorry that was so short, but there's really not a lot to go off of with her. So now I guess we'll just move on to the last movie, which is Infinity War. And sadly we have yet another really short one because she doesn't do or say a lot in this movie, probably only has around a few lines. So instead we're going to be focusing on a relationship of hers, namely her relationship with Bruce Banner and the scene of when they first met after all this time. So from this scene, all that I can really glean from it is they really like seeing each other again after all this time. Both of them, which is really strange to me. I mean, you'd assume Nat to be pissed, but whatever, it makes for a really nice scene either way. Like, even though they are both awkward as all hell, you can tell just how happy they are to see each other again. Natasha even starts to break a smile at the sight of Bruce, which is sadly all we get. I'm so sorry, but this movie has a lot in it, so I'm not really surprised that she didn't get that much. And I'm gonna be honest right now, I'm not exactly the biggest Black Widow fan. Pretty far from it, actually. At the start of this video, I was convinced that she was an incredibly flat character. Yet now, after all of this, I'm actually really grateful we got as good a character that we did. Black Widow has gone through a lot of sadness, a lot of pain, and depression in her life. Yet she still pushed through it. She pushed through her own problems for the sake of the mission. She may be damaged. Oh god, is she actually really damaged? But she's also one of the toughest Avengers. She is Black Widow, the damaged Avenger. But even so, she's fixing herself one movie at a time. Hey guys, Red here back again. Just wanted to tell you that next week's video will be focusing on everyone's favorite Jolly Green Giant, the Hulk. And to also say sorry for the massive quality change in the middle of this video. I'm sorry I had to change locations, meaning I'm not really at peak performance at the moment. I'm sorry. It's my fault. I really should have thought forward a lot more, but hey, things happen and I needed to get this video out as soon as possible, you know? Yeah, you know. But aside from my massive failure, thanks for watching. Please like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. We're probably going to be getting to Twitter and all that stuff soon, but not yet. Not for a while. But even still, we're going to keep making videos for a little bit. See where it gets us. I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.